Before we get into today's video, I'd like to go over some minor repairs I've done. I forgot to mention in the quick update video about the driver door. I also had an issue. I had to replace the electronic lock actuator on the driver door. So the symptom I was getting was that I couldn't lock or unlock all the doors from the driver door using the key or the remote. So this electronic part is actually what controls all of that. So I got it replaced with a brand new one. This is it right here. So I had to disassemble this whole assembly to get it fixed. Here's the window regulator mechanism for the rear passenger door. It has an electric motor, which is this right here, and then it spins and pulls a cable that is attached to the carrier of the window, and then it goes up and down. So here it is right here. In testing the electric motor, I simply used the multimeter to check for continuity. If we look into the terminals right here, we can see only two. So if you have no continuity between those two terminals, that implies that the electric motor is burnt out. So that was my way of testing. So I already installed a replacement in there. It had to do with a lot of twisting and turning, so I didn't get some video. But not so difficult. Right here we have 3 bolts holding it in, and then a couple of other bolts. So I snuck it in by taking off this nylon right here. I snuck it in through this opening and then lined the various holes back up and tightened up the bolts. So that's that. So I'm going to show how to put the door pad back on. After putting on the door card, here's what you have. I'm yet to tighten any screws, so it's still relatively loose. Next, there is a screw down here. Tighten that up, then tool up here. Obviously, you tighten the screws after snapping down the fasteners all around the door. So I'm going to make sure to line up. Just had it pop. That was one fall into place. So we'll check around, and then once we're sure everything's lined up, just give it a tap to secure everything going around that way. So it's all in there right now. It's not loose anymore. So after doing that, then go ahead to tighten down one screw down here and two up here, and then return the covers. I don't have the window switch installed because after installing the electric motor, it worked, and then I found out the switch was bad. It was getting stuck in the up or down position, and if I left it that way, the electric motor could get burnt again. That must have been why the electric motor got burnt in the first place. So I'll have to have that also replaced. So note, if you have a window that is burnt out and not operating, and you investigated and found a burnt electric motor, check your window switch. That could be the cause, so that you don't have the same thing happen again. After cleaning the oil filter housing, here's what we have. Doesn't have to be very pretty as long as it works good. So next I'm going to use a pick to take out the old gasket. So that's the old gasket out in one piece. Don't be like me and have engine oil all over your engine. So that goes to the trash. And then reinstall the new gasket and bolt the assembly back on. Ensure that the gasket is seated properly. and then tighten it back to the engine to about 16 to 18 foot-pounds. Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Hope you all having a good day out there. Well, we're going to continue working on the 2300 cut basics. In today's video, we're going to be tackling and installing a couple of parts. So we're going to start right off with the thermostat. So I got a thermostat right here. Here it is. I must confess that it's quite big. It's probably the biggest thermostat I ever come across. I also have right here the thermostat for the advances. So I'm going to put them side by side so that you can understand the comparison. So this one is from the Toyota Advances. It's quite small compared to this. Extremely big. I must confess it's about, I would say, twice the size. I guess the engine is kind of twice the size of the Advances, so that explains the size difference. So I got a used one, obviously, because this is a budget build. I already had this tested in the kitchen. In fact, let me show you what I did right here. With the thermostat and some water, I got the water up to boiling point and checked if it opened up. Not too very clear in the picture, but looking at the top of the thermostat near the tip, we can see a very shiny portion. It definitely opened up. From the test, we saw that the thermostat opened fine when the water got boiling. So back at the car right now. So where's the thermostat going to be? If we look at the two radiator hoses attached to the engine, we can see a bulge on this one right here. So that's exactly where the thermostat is going to be. So I'm going to get my 10mm socket and take off the two bolts holding the thermostat cover on there. To make the job easier, I think I'm going to go right ahead to take out the radiator and the fans so that all those hoses can be out of my way. It shouldn't be too bad of a job replacing the thermostat, although I can see some silicone RTV around there. Gonna be scraping that up once I have the housing apart. So let me get the radiator out right now. With the two bolts holding the thermostat housing on, here's what we have in there. As you can see, seems the thermostat gasket was left in there, and obviously everything's now a mess. So here's what we have. Fellas, if you have a faulty thermostat in your car, replace it with a new or used one and not outrightly leave the thermostat out of your engine. So I'm going to clean up this mess and then we proceed. So here's what we have after cleaning. That's the outer cover. Still looks nasty, but not as much better than it was before. So checking out the other side. Yeah, that's it right there. It's interesting to note that the slot where the thermostat is going to fix has a notch at the top. So looking at the thermostat, you can see it also has the same, this notch up here, supposed to fit into that groove at the top. And also I won't need to use any RTV silicone because we have a rubber gasket around there. So it's much easier having a thermostat installed than going without. If you're not sure as to the orientation of the thermostat on there, we can try. If I try to install it this way, obviously it doesn't fit, so definitely it has to be this way. So let's head over to the engine and get it installed. With this notch inserted into the slot, and obviously this notch should coincide with this jiggle valve. On the thermostat is written up right here. Yes, I hope you can read that. So this notch is supposed to line up with the jiggle valve, and then you fit the rubber into the slot on the engine. Yes, exactly like that. And then push it in all the way so that it sits properly. Just like that. So with that done, we'll install the cover and then tighten down the bolts to the appropriate torque spec. I think it should be about 16 to 18 foot-pounds, and we'll call the thermostat a success. So there we have it. The thermostat is installed and the housing put back together. So if I stick my finger into the pipe like I did the other time in the previous video, I can feel the thermostat in there. So I'm not sure whether you can see it. Yeah, it's quite dark in there, but it's right in there. I can feel it with my finger. So if you want to check real quick if your engine has a thermostat or not, just take off the radiator hose where the thermostat should be, stick your finger in there, you should be able to feel it. So now move on to the next thing. And what's the next thing? The air conditioning issue. So the game plan will be to evacuate the system of any gas that's in there, because we should be environmentally responsible. You're not supposed to vent refrigerant into the atmosphere. So after doing that, we'll take out the dented condenser, which is this one right here. Straighten out any damaged body panels, and then install the new condenser, have the system vacuumed, and then refill it back with gas and enjoy ice cold air conditioning. So let's dive right into it. I decided to take out the front bumper in order to inspect the damage carefully. So if we go down right here, we can see where the damage occurred to the condenser and also to the frame of the vehicle. Seems like it ran over something high on the road or something, or in a parking lot. So after taking out the condenser, I'll need to straighten that out, because it's not likely the new condenser is going to fit on there properly. So let's keep moving. With all the bolts and nuts loosened, I'm now going to carefully lift out the faulty condenser. So there it is. If we look down there, you can see where the damage occurred. I guess the last row was most affected. With everything taken apart and the damaged portion of the frame exposed, here's what we have. If we look from the front, we can see there's a definite bow in the frame in the lower bar. So I'll be using a big piece of wood and a big hammer to straighten it out as much as possible. As long as the new condenser fits properly without any contact or issues, it should be fine. So here's what we have after straightening the lower portion. It looks pretty good. I already reinstalled the power steering cooler down there. It looks straight enough by me. I don't foresee any issues installing the new condenser on there. I also took the opportunity to clean up the whole place a little so that it looks a lot better and easier to work with. So right now, I'm going to get the new condenser, check all the mounting points, and then begin installation. So here it is, the new condenser. I checked the mounting points to confirm fitments. I don't foresee any issues before tearing apart the package. So I'm going right ahead to tear apart the package, get some fittings on there, and get the new condenser fully installed. It looks pretty good, I must confess. I hope it cools as well as it looks. So here we have it. The AC condenser is fully installed. Checking out the gaps below. Seems pretty good and straight enough. Yes. There's no sign of crumbling anymore, except you look very closely. Everything looks straight. I must confess that I had some difficulty installing the condenser, especially on the passenger side, because the mounting tab was slightly different from the faulty one. I had to screw in the mount right there, whereas on the faulty one it slid right through and then had a nut at the end. Also, the faulty one had a locating tab for a bolt down there. This doesn't have that, so that we're going to have an empty hole right there. Aside that, it lined up pretty good. So there you have it. Next, I'm going to reinstall the radiator back on the vehicle and we'll proceed. Right now the radiator is fully installed back on the car. I'm yet to refill the system with coolant. I'm still going to be using water because I want to be sure I don't have any leaks. Have the radiator hoses connected, everything looking good. I also have the fans reconnected. There it is. I'm yet to install the bumper. I'll tell you why in a few minutes from now. So there it is, all looking good. So now we should have ice cold air conditioning once I fill the system up with refrigerant. Here's the bumper cover. I found some broken tabs, for example this one. Same thing, also this right here. Plan to do some plastic welding on that so that the bumper fits on properly. Same thing right here. This one is still good, so I'll do some plastic welding right there to fix everything up and then have the bumper installed. Unfortunately, I won't be able to refill the system with refrigerant in this video. I'm yet to refill the engine with engine oil after replacing the oil filter housing gasket, so I'll get that done next video. I have a brand new oil filter on there. Yeah, the job went relatively smooth. I also used this opportunity to clean up the engine a little bit more. We'll improve on that later on. Also, I'm still working on the exhaust system. I'll give you an update on that in the next video. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, leave your comments below, anything you think you feel it's been worth it fixing a car like this, or you rather spend twice the money or thrice the money in getting something that doesn't require any work? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, share the video if you found it informative, and remember to hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. So till next week, catch you in the next one. Stay safe.